ASC Lacrosse is Central PA's leading lacrosse store. Get the best selection, great service, and great prices, and receive loyalty points with every purchase at ASC Lacrosse now.
Hello and welcome to All Access, brought to you by ASC Lacrosse. I'm Keith Schweigert, he's LMP sports writer John Walk, and we're getting you ready for the District 3 Boys and Girls Lacrosse Semifinals, which will be held Tuesday night. The boys' semifinal games will be held at 5 and 7 p.m. at Lower Dolphin Middle School in Hummelstown, while the girls' semis will go down at 5 and 7 at Hershey High School. And John, it looks like Manheim Township is the sole Lancaster-Lebanon League survivor in both playoff brackets. Bring us up to date here on everything that transpired last week.
Yeah, I'll start over on the boys' side. We had LS and Hempfield go head-to-head in the first round. I was out at that game. It was played over at Penn Manor. LS, it was a really back-and-forth game the entire way. LS finally pulled away down the stretch, went to the quarterfinals, and they lost close to Hershey. And now Hershey is set to face Wilson in the other boys' semifinal. Manheim Township crushed Carlisle, went up against Trinity. I was not at that game, but from everything I've heard and read, it was a pretty tight game until the very end when Manheim Township won that 17-12, and that's only notable because of who they're going to be facing in the semifinals, which we'll talk about here in a bit. Over in the girls' side, Hempfield, they won their first round game pretty easy over Governor Mifflin, and then ran into York Catholic, and actually played York Catholic really, really close. And had a chance to pull within one goal in the final couple minutes and before turning it over. I'm only saying that because Hempfield, they really came on strong down the stretch at the end of the year, went to the league final. They lost to Township, but they're the closest. It's Township's smallest margin of victory this season was that league final game and a Hempfield loss. And then Hempfield ran into York Catholic in the district quarterfinals, and I think York Catholic is probably the number 2 team in the whole district behind Township, and Hempfield just happened to play both Township and Catholic here in the final couple weeks. So like what I saw at Hempfield down the stretch here. Lampeter Strasburg, we talked about it last week. Kennerdale coming into the District 3 tournament was 1-8 against teams from Lancaster County in the district tournament overall. So far in the first round, Kennerdale beat Lampeter Strasburg, and then they beat the Lancaster Triad. Those scores were 21-6 and 18-9, and now Kennerdale is going to be going up against another Lancaster County team in Manheim Township in the semifinal.
Okay, so as you said, that brings us to our semifinal matchups. And on the boys' side, Township will take on third-seeded Cumberland Valley in the first game of a doubleheader at Lower Dolphin. In the other semi, number 1 Wilson faces Hershey. And on the girls' side, Township will be up against Kennerdale, as you mentioned, at 5 o'clock, followed by top-ranked York Catholic against Exeter Township at 7. Tuesday's winners will advance to the championship game, which will be held Thursday in Hershey Park Stadium. Girls' finals at 5 p.m., followed by the boys' title game at 7. So, John, what can you tell us about Tuesday's semifinal matchups, and how do you see everything playing out the rest of the week?
Yeah, I'll start in the boys lacrosse semifinal between number 2 Township and number 3 Cumberland Valley. Now, this is a rematch of last year's district championship game, which Manheim Township won by a final score of 8-3. So it was a defensive game, and just looking at everything on paper and everything I've read, I think it's going to be another defensive battle. In terms of numbers, Manheim Township and Cumberland Valley are the top 2 scoring defenses in the entire district. Manheim Township defense, they have LL League All-Star goalie Caton Johnson. He's fronted by LL All-Star defenders Tate Hutchinson and Parker Wolf. Over on the Cumberland Valley side, Mid-Penn All-Star goalie, Nick Brown, and he's fronted by All-Star defenders Matt Hager, Josh Ferguson, and Owen Sieber. So really tough defenses. Manheim Township should have the edge at face-off with Aaron Kager, and offensively, CV is averaging 13 goals a game. Manheim Township is averaging 16 goals a game. I'll give Manheim Township the slight edge there, just in terms of depth. They have multiple scoring options both in their starting line, and then they have a second and third line that comes off the bench for them, and they just rotate in and out and they stay fresh. So I really like what I see there. It's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if Township lost this close. I wouldn't be surprised if Township won this close. So it's going to be a really awesome game for anybody who's out there. Over on the girls' side, Kennerdale and Manheim Township, rematch again. They've met in the district tournament each year for the last 3 years. Obviously, Township won all 3 of those games. Trying to find the final scores here, but I can't. But either way, I know it was a really close game each time. Kennerdale, from everything I've read, they're stacked pretty much at every position like you want to be, as is Township. talked to Township coach Mark Pinkerton about Kennerdale last week. Apparently they met sometime during the winter, just kind of a scrimmage type of deal there, and he said they're really, really strong, and he stayed after last week when they won their quarterfinal to check out York Catholic. So even if they get past Kennerdale, they have to face York Catholic. I think out of all the years, Township having won all 7 district titles, out of all the years, this might be their toughest challenge yet. They're 30-0 all-time in the District 3 tournament, but this week, Tuesday, and if they make it through Tuesday and Thursday, it's not going to be easy for them for sure. So this is going to be a well-earned district title if they just so happen to pull it out.
Okay, well, we'll see how everything plays out. So everybody be sure to follow along with John on Facebook and Twitter this week for updates on all of the lacrosse action. For John Walk, I'm Keith Schweigert. Thanks, and we'll see you next time.